Yep.
So here, oh, wait, what's the prize? The prize is something brand new to convention of states. As a matter of fact, it's so brand new, only myself, Nitsa, and Mark, I think, have one of these, and you could get one. And it is a
Look at that.
Patriot pin, a COS Patriot pin. We have a bunch of these. Again, a limited edition pin. It's not as revered as the challenge coin, if you know what a challenge coin is, but it is a special pin that you can wear on your lapel or your collar, or put it someplace when you out in public and people say, wait a second, what's that?
What
And you'll
is
say,
that?
oh,
Cool.
let me tell you about Convention of States. And it shows that you're a patriot. And if you know the answer to this question, you are a patriot as far as I'm concerned, and in the realm of Article 5 in Convention of States. And here's the question. And the question is, what former Supreme Court justice said this quote? The founders inserted an alternative method of obtaining constitutional amendments because they knew the Congress would be unwilling to give attention to many issues the people are concerned with, particularly those involving restrictions on the federal government's power. Who said that? Which former Supreme Court justice said that quote? And we're going to let you guys stew, and then when you put the answer in there, say where you're from, what state you're from, so we can elevate you and your state, and
Yes.
we can find where you are to send this pin your way. Over to you, Tamara.
Awesome. Well, we've got really a big announcement. As we've been saying all month, October has been the month of Convention of States endorsements. For whatever reason, this is not an October surprise, but it might be for you guys with this announcement. I'm super excited to put it out there that Fox News senior judicial analyst, Judge Andrew Napolitano, has endorsed the Convention of States. And what's really exciting is when we were going back and forth, we'll give you a little inside baseball. He himself called this a full-throated endorsement. So we are just so excited that Judge Napolitano is joining the movement to really save the country, to restore the Constitution, and return our power back to us in our states. I want to read to you something, part of the quote. Hey, yes, Mike.
Let me jump in.
Yes.
We get so many endorsements, it's crazy. For anybody to just list off all of our endorsers, it's crazy. We have 6 presidential candidates that have endorsed the Convention of States project. So what is so special about this endorsement by Judge Napolitano? Well, here's one thing, and if there's one reason you want to use it, if you ever struggle with people coming to you with those worn out reasons why we shouldn't have a Convention of States, then here is one thing that you can use this endorsement for. Judge Napolitano not only endorses this and strongly urges us to move in this direction, but he has written 9 books on the Constitution. So if you think you're smarter than Judge Napolitano and you're more learned in the Constitution, telling me about all these problems, what we're doing, then I don't get it why this guy would endorse the Convention of States project.
Oh, yeah. And he is his career, his judicial career is impeccable. I want to make sure people understand. Judge Andrew Napolitano, graduate of Princeton, University of Notre Dame Law School, was the youngest life tenured Superior Court judge in the history of the state of New Jersey. This is not a gentleman who is whimsical, or he is thoughtful. He knows the Constitution. He doesn't do things that are random. And he said, when the convention is called to order, and it will be, I'd consider it an honor and privilege to perform some of the heavy lifting, which is to draft and disseminate proposed constitutional amendments to the states that, in Jefferson's words, will chain down the federal government to the confines of the Constitution. I mean, that gives me goosebumps. That is so amazing that he doesn't say if, he says when we get to convention, Mike. I love that. He's already thinking this is going to happen. And this is a man who is on TV on a regular basis, going through all of this stuff from a judicial perspective that's happening at the federal level. He doesn't see Washington changing or fixing its ways or suddenly deciding they're going to put limits on themselves. He knows firsthand as a judge that's never going to happen, and that convention of states is the best way for us to get there. Super excited. Hey, maybe Mike, we can get him on to come and talk with us.
That'd be awesome.
Work on that. We'll have to work on that.
That'd be awesome. You know, we're talking about judges, so let me jump in real quick here because
Go for it.
The Supreme Court is an important part. It's one of the three branches of government. And by the way, in case you didn't know, I'm one of only 33% of Americans that understand that there's three branches of government and can name them all, which is a little bit pathetic. But there's some interesting things about the Supreme Court is they have lifetime appointments. It does not mean that you can't retire. And just today, you may have heard that retired Justice Sandra Day O'Connor announced that she's going to move away from public life and become private because unfortunately she's having to deal with dementia. It's a very sad thing. But she also knew that she wouldn't be able to really serve the court, which is why she retired. Give somebody else a chance. There's nothing wrong with that. And it's better than being incapacitated and still being on the court. So please pray for Sandra Day O'Connor that God's plan fulfills itself. She's given quite a bit to this country.
Absolutely. That's great. Well, Mike, go for it. You've got to read your answer to your question of the week because we've got two guests that are dying to get on and give us scoops from what happened last week in their state.
All right. Well, our winner, the first one to tell us the answer is Tuvanya Tamer. You're the winner. She said the winner was Antonin Scalia, our recently deceased Justice, not Chief Justice. That's, of course, John Roberts. And so this is something interesting about what he said. The founders inserted an alternative method of obtaining constitutional amendments because they knew the Congress would be unwilling to give attention to many issues that people are concerned with, particularly those involving restrictions on the federal government's own power. That is so insightful. And one of the reasons why we are telling you this is because so many people take Scalia's quote out of context and they somehow twist it around to make it sound like he didn't like the idea of an Article 5 convention. So remember this, and if anybody ever tells you differently, tell them that it's simply taken out of context.